What's up, everyone? This is one of the best games of Netrunner I've had in quite a while, so I'm very excited to showcase this to you. This is my Power Shutdown Recursion HP deck up against a worthy opponent, mostly because he's playing Shaper, which means that Power Shutdown is not as effective because of all the recursion means within faction for Shaper. So I get a good starting hand with no agendas, but I only have two pieces of ice, one of which is an Ichi. It's preferable not to install Ichi as the bottommost piece of ice, so I let R&D go, and sure enough, it's a huge mistake because he indexes the very first turn. Yes. I mean, it was a toss-up between protecting against a Count Siphon and protecting against indexing. I guess I could have installed the Ichi just to deter him from running, but yeah, I guess I should have, because I could have easily bled like 4 or 5 agenda points there with Project Wotan in my deck. Thankfully, he only finds a single ABT, so I got very lucky there. And even better, he allowed me to get a Viper the next turn. So I actually am able to protect R&D, and I secure it very, very much. Alright, so now he shows me what kind of deck he's running. He's running Personal Workshop, probably with a Steam hack in there to liberate all the items off. Now I install both my assets, Jackson Howard and Adonis Campaign, both of which will be pretty crucial. I plan to res the Adonis next turn, assuming he doesn't trash it. I want to res it next turn and draw some ice to protect the Adonis. Protecting the Adonis is obviously very important. So I draw into my ice, no ice. I drew 5 whole cards that turn, not a single one of them was ice. So then nothing much I can do except to install yet another Adonis and let him trash my existing one, which is a waste for me. So now he shows me his console of choice, the 2-box, which I'm very worried about. The 2-box gives him 2 link, upping it to, yes, 2 link. So my Viper is pretty much useless. No matter what Code Game Breaker he's running, he'll get through the Viper easily through the trace. So now I finally draw into my ice and I'm able to protect my Adonis. Hopefully he won't run HQ though, because there are 2 Vitruviuses inside that I'm planning to score soon. Alright, he starts gathering more and more programs. That's an Akamatsuman chip and a Silencer. Interesting choice. He's probably running Dagger. Now I try to... I'll see, since he doesn't seem to be too interested in running my face down remotes, what I do is to install a Profiteering and a Shock. If I were the runner and I saw this, I would immediately think that one of them is a 3-2, and I would begin running. You just cannot, I mean, I suppose he can afford to let me score a couple of agendas, but I think if the corp installs more than 1 face down card in a turn, the alarms in your head should go off. You should suspect that there's an agenda down there somewhere. So I'm not going to leave it on the table. I'll score the Profiteering. Usually at this point I'll take 3 bad pub. As I said, it doesn't really matter to me, the bad pub, because my deck is all about destroying the runner's rig. So no matter how much bad pub they have, if they have no rig, they can't enter my servers. But there are 2 things here. Firstly, I'm already flush on credits, so I don't need the boost. More importantly, he's running Personal Workshop. The 3 bad pub is going to give him so much power. He can just run archives every single click of his turn and liberate everything off his Personal Workshop with the 3 bad pub. So there's no way I'm going to give him a bad pub this game. He continues to assemble his rig, ignoring what clearly is an agenda in that remote. Good for him, I guess, because there's no Code Game Breaker in his Personal Workshop just yet. And he's too low on credits to deal with it. So now here's the tough choice. Do I overscore the Vitruvius, or do I install another new asset inside? I decide to leave the Vitruvius underscored and install the Shock instead. I want to draw him to run into that server. If he's drawn into running that server, he'll be dirt poor at the end of it, and as a result, I can open the scoring window for myself. I would think that he would run this server because it looks like I'm trying to rush out agendas before he gets his rig set up. But he doesn't fall for the bait, unfortunately. I thought he would because he has an SMC out, so I thought he would click for Magnum 3 times and run that server. I was very disappointed that he didn't in the end. So now I begin to bait him once more. He didn't take the bait last turn. Hopefully he will this turn. But this time I'm going to be very sneaky about it. I install two assets, but this time the agenda is in the unprotected server. The protected server, all there is a single Jackson. So I'm hoping to lure him to running it, and very happily enough he does. So I'm going to put a whole show out about it by raising all my eyes. First, the next bronze to draw his Zuki Master, and then the Eli. I knew full well that he would be able to get through the server. So, yeah. Because he had an SMC out, it was quite obvious that he would be able to get through the server. So he runs in and sees the useless Jackson. And yes, sure enough, he hates me a lot. But this is the power of running 3 shots in your deck. You can play mind games so much. And yes, I scored the Vitruvius to rub the salt in his wounds. Not only did he miss the Vitruvius, but more importantly, I'm now on match point. This is looking quite good for me. However, the toughest part now is finding the last agenda. Because now his rig is more or less set up already. All he needs is 3 credits to liberate Dagger and Silencer off his deck, and he's good to go. So I need to find a way to score that last agenda. And yes, at this point, I would pay for anything to get a Biotic Label. But I don't have any Biotics in this deck. Maybe I really should consider running some of it. Alright. He runs my Jackson, and of course I need to reshuffle in the Vitruvius, which was milled earlier, I believe, into archives thanks to Power Shutdown. Yes, his personal workshop is looking very loaded right now. What I would pay to tag him right now. 2 silencers and a dagger. That is a very powerful combination. You don't need cloak. Cloak takes up too much memory. Silencer does the job just alright and works with personal workshop as well. What is happening? Yes, meanwhile because he ran last turn, I think he ran to trash my Jackson. What I do is to clear his rig with the Power Shutdown Recursion, and you can see how powerful this is. This opens a scoring window for me because he doesn't have his decoder or his fractor on the board. Just as well, because I have a next bronze and an Eli guarding my server. So I'm looking very good here. And at this point, I could choose to score my Project Wotan. But that's not a good idea, because if I install Advance, it immediately telegraphs the fact that it's a Project Wotan. And he will probably have an SMC or the clone chip or another test run to deal with my next bronze. I do not want to run that risk. Giving him a 3-pointer is not in my best interest. So, instead what I do is to install a shock. He has to think that that's a 3-2 agenda, so he has to find some way to get into my server. And sure enough, he installs the SMC. Does he run? Is he gonna run? He installs the Corolla, and he runs the server. But he doesn't have enough credits to get through. It costs him 1 credit to break the bronze and 4 credits to break the Eli. That's 5 credits. He only has 2 credits plus 2 from toolbox. He cannot get through. Oh man, I wish he was able to get through. Oh my gosh. Had he been able to get through to my server, he would have taken 1 net damage. He would be down to 0 credits, and that opens up the scoring window for me. Instead, oh man, he doesn't get through the server, and I do not win the game. Instead, I draw into the other Project Wotan in my deck. I don't want to see that. The Wotans are not very good to score. Oh man, now all I can do is to retrieve another Power Shutdown to disarm his Silencer. So now he has 1 less Silencer on the board. Basically, I'm just eroding his defenses slowly but surely. I want to eventually get to his Zuki Master and Kuroda so that I can actually score from that server. I draw into an ABT. That's a good agenda, but I cannot score it now. He has both his breakers on board. He can easily get through the server, and he's starting to accumulate a lot of credits, so I cannot punish him for being low on credits. Instead, what I do is to retrieve all my Power Shutdowns back into my hand, ready to shut him down the next time he makes a run. This is quite important. I have to keep telling myself, Power Shutdown only works when the runner made a run last turn. If he's playing passively, like such as right now, where he clicks for Magnum for 8 credits, I cannot use Power Shutdown. I see an next bronze. That's pretty useful. I'm going to put it on the remote server to tax him even more. So now it doesn't cost 1 credit to get through the next bronze. It costs 4 to get through both next bronzes. And I draw into another useful ice, an Ichi. That's definitely going on my remote as well. Now, I'm thinking here, I'm not going to be able to get his Zuki Master or his Corroder with my Power Shutdowns because he's running Akamatsu Man chip and a silencer in that personal workshop. So if he liberates them at the right time, my Power Shutdown will never hit the Corroder or the Zoo. Instead, I'm attempting to snipe off the silencer, in which case that will disarm his dagger and my Ichi can do work. But it's starting to, time is running out for me because he has assembled his good rig and is going to run R&D. I let him through R&D to see 5 cards, hoping that he doesn't access 3 agendas. Because I know both 3 pointers are in my hand, the likelihood of him finding anything is pretty low. And very importantly, right now, I know that the top 3 cards of my R&D are not agendas. So I can happily trash most of the cards from the top of R&D with Power Shutdown. First, I trash his Zuki Master because, and yes, he cannot react to it by liberating anything off the Snow Workshop at this point in time. So he's forced to trash his Zuki Master. This immediately secures my remote server. So long as he doesn't have any form of recursion out, I am actually good to go. So, yep. It is yes, he did make a mistake there. He should have liberated something off personal workshop, if only to protect against Power Shutdown. So losing his Zuki Master there is quite a huge loss, but he's about to lose more. If he remembered me reclaiming 2 cards at the end of last turn, he should know that another Power Shutdown is coming his way. And this time, it's going to target the Corroder. And the best thing about it is that I know that most of the stuff that's milled into archives is not an agenda because he indexed me. Sorry, he did a Maker's Eye run on me, so the top few cards are not agendas. And now, with his Corroder and Decoder out of the way, I can score my ABT. Good luck with that. So, he digs furiously to find some semblance of a breaker. Is he going to be able to get through? I don't think he is. He has only 2 clicks left. He needs to install both the Decoder and the Fractor. He can't do that in 1 turn. So instead, he test runs for a certain breaker, a Corroder, and he runs my archives. Game over for me. It's a rotor turret that is on archives, and he has a dagger to deal with that. And inside my archives is the single 1-point agenda, besides profiteering, that loses me the game. The Director Haas's pet project. Oh man, that hurts so bad. Oh, had I not milled that, I would have won the game. Ouch. Yes, and worst of all, looking back to what I played, had I overscored the Vitruvius very early on in the game instead of replacing it with a shock, I could have saved my Director Haas's pet project from archives and dealt 3 net damage to him instead and scored the next turn. So a lot of mistakes made on my part in retrospect. I could have played the shell game much better. There were a lot of times where I installed shocks into my remotes that he didn't check. These installed shocks were a waste of my time because instead of installing shocks, I could have been installing Vitruviuses, which would have gotten me to match point faster. I didn't play sufficiently fast enough against this Chaos Theory deck, whose goal is to build up a big ASAP and rampage on my servers. I got very lucky with the first turn indexing and the 5-card access later on. He only netted 1 agenda from each, 6 points of agendas from both. He should have won, really, by accessing those 10 cards. He should have gotten enough agenda points to win, but I got lucky, and yes, I just misplayed. There was so much potential to win, but I didn't capitalize on the opportunities that was given. Still, I thoroughly enjoyed that nail-biting game. It was so close down to the wire, and that 1 agenda in archives made all the difference. His rig got demolished from time to time, and yes, he was struggling so much with finding the correct agendas in my remotes, as I was happily distracting him away and burning away his rig. That was a blast to play. Much more fun than HB Glacier in my opinion. I hope you found this match thoroughly exciting as well, and I hope you enjoyed it. Thanks for watching, and have a happy time net running.